coming off of farm for sale. So for sale, for sale. 2024, you gotta put it out. You put it out.
Folks, welcome back to another episode of The Fallen Badge. Today's episode, the murder of Officer Gary Heath, Deputy Lynn Rowell, Lieutenant Coy Smith, Greenville, Alabama Police Department, Pearl River County Sheriff's Department, Alabama Public Service Commission. Officer Heath, he'd been with Greenville Police Department for 10 months. He was 25 years old. Now his mom and daddy were still alive, and he had a brother. Now Lieutenant Smith, he'd been with the Public Service Commission there in Alabama for 28 years. He was 61 years of age. Now, I don't have any family information on him. Now Deputy Rowell, he was 24 years old. He had 18 months with the Pearl River County Sheriff's Department. Now, I actually have a little more information on Deputy Rowell. He had been a U.S. Marine and he had served during Operation Desert Storm. And he had a wife. Now, in this episode, we're going to be talking about a suspect, and he was from Alabama, but he had moved down towards the Miami, Florida area. It just seems like everywhere he went, there was mischief and mayhem. And he wasn't a very old fella. He was in his 20s, but he sure was mean. Now, in the span of 2 weeks, he would kill 3 law enforcement officers and kill a poor convenience store clerk and shoot and wound another lady. It just seemed like that's all he wanted to do, was just hurt people. Now, at some point, he'd come back from Miami, and his hometown was Mobile, Alabama. Now, it's June 14th, 1994. Now, our suspect is cruising along I-65. I don't know if he's heading north away from Mobile or heading back that way. But now he stops off there at exit 128. Now, that exit there, that's in the town of Greenville, Alabama. Population is about 5,000 or 6,000 there in the early 90s. So it's a small town. Now the town's about 100 miles north of Mobile. In fact, it sits there right between Mobile and Montgomery on the interstate. And now anything that sits there on that interstate, there's always going to be trouble coming and going. Now at that exit, there's a few convenience stores. Of the convenience stores, I don't know which ones were in business during that time frame. Resource material only indicated it was an Amoco station. But now, if the 3 stores that are present there now at 128 were in existence back then, I would imagine the one he hit would have been the one by itself over on the west side of Interstate 65. Don't know for sure. But now there was a clerk in there. She was by herself, Pamela Scruggs. She was in her 20s. Now at some point, suspect goes in and he's robbing the store. Now at some point during that robbery, Officer Heath, he pulls up and goes inside. Resource material seems to indicate that he was just stopping by to check on the clerk, which is generally what good police officers do. They'll check on these clerks in these convenience stores, especially the ones that's working by themselves. Well, evidently now, Officer Heath, he walked in on that holdup. Now, I don't know how much money the suspect got, but when he left, he had Officer Heath's gun. And Officer Heath and Miss Scruggs were both dead. And I can only imagine that he got Officer Heath's gun more for the sake of it being a trophy than for anything else. Now, I don't know what he got into in the next 14 days or so, but the next time he pops up, he's over in the great state of Mississippi. Now, the car the suspect was in, according to resource material, it had been taken during a hotel robbery down in Miami on June 8th. Now, I can't imagine why that tag in that car weren't showing to be stolen or taken in a robbery or something. That's more than enough time for it to be entered into the system. So I don't know the circumstances of that robbery or how the car was taken. But it sure should have popped up stolen if the police ran the tag. So now it's June 28th. 20 days after that car was reported stolen. 14 days since the suspect killed Officer Heath and Miss Scruggs. Well, now he's rolling along I-59 there, southbound in Pearl River County. Now, Deputy Rowell sees the car and he stops it. Don't know what he stopped it for, speeding or what. But now he gets that car stopped, and it's on a pretty desolate stretch of I-59. Nothing but woods on either side. So now at 3:45 a.m., he ran that tag with communications. Now the dispatcher came back, told him the tag was clear. So Deputy Rowell was doing everything just like he should have been. He's going to run that tag, wait on that information before he goes walking up to that car. So now he makes that walk from his squad car up towards the suspect's car. Now the suspect, I don't know if he just stuck his head out the window and shot or if he just bailed out of the car, but either way he cranked off multiple rounds. Now he hit Deputy Rowell 6 times, and all those rounds hit the deputy in the vest. Now, I saw some other resource material that says that 5 of the rounds hit the vest and 1 hit him in the shoulder. Now, Deputy Rowell, he's trying to get his weapon out as this gunfire's coming in. But now he gets hit by so many rounds, even in the vest, that the blunt trauma just puts him on the ground. And he's unconscious. Now, I don't know if he's unconscious from the blunt trauma or combination of that and him hitting his head on the road or what, but he's down and he's out. He's defenseless. So the suspect puts 2 execution rounds in the deputy. Now, the resource material doesn't indicate if he took Deputy Rowell's pistol or not. Now, at some point, the suspect, he gets identified as the man responsible for all these shenanigans that are going on. Because everywhere he goes, people are dying. And I don't know at what point somebody finally figured out that that car is wanted for high crimes. At least should have been after Deputy Rowell was killed, because he ran the tag. But in any event, it's still June 28th. And he pops up and he's about 70 miles away from Mobile. And he steals a car at gunpoint. Now, in the great state of Alabama, I would say stealing a car at gunpoint, that's a carjacking. That's also a federal offense. Well, then he pops up and he starts heading east on I-10. Now, at some point, he pulls off there at the Loxley exit there in Alabama. Don't know what the circumstances were, but somewhere off that exit, he runs up on Lieutenant Smith. Now, Lieutenant Smith, he's a Public Service Commission officer. And I don't know what the suspect did to draw Lieutenant Smith's attention, because now PSC officers, they've got some police powers. Whatever it was, though, it sure caught his attention. Now, the resource material says that Lieutenant Smith ran the suspect's tag. Most of the resource material I saw indicated that Lieutenant Smith may have been sitting in his quad car. The other indicates he might have been standing outside, but either way, the suspect's right there with him. And the suspect pulls out one of his pistols and he shoots and kills Lieutenant Smith. Well, now from there, the suspect, he heads south from Loxley and he runs down to Foley, Alabama. He decides he needs another car. Now that's why he committed that carjacking there in the Mobile area, because he knew that car he was in when he killed Deputy Rowell, he knew that car was going to be too hot to stay in. Well, I guess he figured he better get out of this car he's in up in Loxley, because now he's done killed Lieutenant Smith, and that car tag's going to be running hot. Now, for whatever reason, he whips in there to a McDonald's and he sees a woman inside the car at the drive-through window. I don't know if he saw the two kids in the car or not, but one of them was 1 year old and the other was 3. They were in the back seat. Now, that doesn't sound like a good car to be carjacking. I don't know if he didn't care or he didn't look or what. But now he's trying to get that woman out of the car, and she's at the speaker, so everybody at McDonald's is listening to this drama unfold. Well, she doesn't get out of the car quick enough for him, so he shoots her. Now, he doesn't kill her, but it wasn't for lack of trying. Well, he has to run back and get back in his original car. I guess he figured he couldn't get that one since he's got that woman shot and kids in the back. Now, that woman he shot, she was from up Memphis, Tennessee. Donna Akers. I'm sure she's used to reading and seeing and experiencing crime in Memphis. I know she couldn't believe she's all the way down here in Foley, Alabama, and she's going to get carjacked. That's a Memphis thing, not a Foley thing. She survives, but now our suspect, after that unsuccessful event, he heads back northbound away from Foley. In fact, he's heading back towards Loxley, so I don't know if he's going to get back on the interstate there or not. But while he's heading back up that road, the FBI's got agents out. Now, I don't know if the agents are out there on the road going to these crime scenes or not, because I'm sure they showed up at Loxley regarding Lieutenant Smith's death, because now every one of these cars the suspects got, they're all carjackings, and even if they're auto thefts, they're going across state lines, so either way the FBI has an interest. Now, they're not too interested in a stolen car, but they are when that stolen car is involved in the death of police officers or citizens. So I don't know what the agents were, which scene they were trying to make, or if they were just looking for the suspect in general. And I'm sure Loxley put some information out over the radio about the suspect responsible for the attempted carjacking there in Foley. In any event, the agents are in their car, they're on the highway, and they see the suspect. So they get up there and they're going to try to get him pulled over. Now, what they did sure doesn't sound like the FBI know. The FBI I know, they generally don't do stuff like this. Whoever these agents were, they had to have been ex-police. Now, according to the resource material, Two agents in a car, and they get up beside the suspect. And the passenger agent, he rolls his window down, and he's got his pistol out, and he's motioning for the suspect to pull over. Now, according to the FBI, suspect then took one of his pistols and he shot himself. And he DOA on the scene. Officer Gary Wayne Heath. End of watch, June 14th, 1994. Deputy Lynn J. Rowell. Lieutenant Coy N. Smith. End of watch, June 28th, 1994.